Several former CIA officers in the United States have been convicted and sentenced to prison for serious crimes. Sworn to protect the nation, these agents traded their oaths for espionage, corruption, and betrayal, leaving the CIA reeling. Welcome to Buried Secrets, where we unearth the grim truths hidden in history's darkest corners. In this episode, we expose the shocking downfall of 14 CIA officers who morphed from patriots to prisoners. From leaking secrets to foreign enemies to committing unthinkable abuses, their crimes shook the intelligence world. Let's dig into the shadows. Joshua Adam Schulte. Joshua Schulte's betrayal ranks among the CIA's worst disasters. Born in 1988 in League City, Texas, Schulte showed an early aptitude for computers, earning a computer engineering degree from the University of Texas at Austin. In 2010, he joined the CIA's Operations Support Branch, developing sophisticated cyber tools to hack smartphones, computers, and smart TVs for intelligence gathering. His work was pivotal, but conflicts with colleagues and dissatisfaction with management brewed resentment. By 2016, Schulte resigned, seething with anger. In 2017, WikiLeaks published Vault 7, a series of documents detailing the CIA's cyber espionage capabilities, exposing methods to infiltrate devices worldwide. The breach, the largest unauthorized release in CIA history, cost hundreds of millions in crippled operations, endangering agents and sources. Schulte was the source, motivated by spite. Arrested in 2017 on charges of possessing child pornography, investigators uncovered evidence linking him to Vault 7. His devices held over 10,000 images and videos of child sexual abuse material, plus a photograph of an unconscious woman being assaulted, leading to further charges. A 2020 trial ended in a mistrial on major espionage counts, but he was convicted of contempt and false statements. A 2022 retrial secured convictions for espionage and computer hacking, followed by 2023 convictions for possessing and transporting abuse material. On February 1, 2024, Schulte was sentenced to 40 years, with the judge emphasizing the exceptionally grave harm to national security. The CIA's failure to detect his instability raises alarms. How did a trusted engineer become a traitor? Could another Vault 7 strike today? Share your thoughts below. Alexander Yuk Ching Ma. Alexander Ma's espionage fed China's intelligence machine, compromising CIA operations. Born in 1952 in British Hong Kong, Ma immigrated to the US in 1968, becoming a citizen in 1975. He joined the CIA in 1982 as a clandestine officer, serving in the Far East until 1989. In March of 2001, Ma and his brother David, a former CIA officer, met with China's Shanghai State Security Bureau in a Hong Kong hotel, providing classified details on CIA personnel, operations, and communications techniques for $50,000. A videotape captured Ma counting the money, a stark image of betrayal. The FBI, aware of his ties, hired Ma in 2004 as a contract linguist in Honolulu to monitor him. From August 2004 to October 2012, Ma worked part-time at an off-site location, copying, photographing, and stealing classified documents. He traveled to China, delivering these to his handlers and returning with cash and gifts, including golf clubs. In January 2019, Ma met an undercover FBI agent posing as a Chinese operative, confirming his past espionage and expressing willingness to continue, stating he wanted the motherland to succeed. He accepted $2,000 as a token of appreciation. Arrested on August 14, 2020, Ma pleaded guilty on May 24, 2024, to conspiring to deliver national defense information, securing a 10-year sentence and lifelong polygraph obligations. His brother with Alzheimer's was not charged. Ma's leaks endangered CIA sources and operations, causing untold damage. At sentencing, he said, "I hope God in America will forgive me for what I have done." Was his remorse genuine? Did 10 years match the harm? Drop your take below. Brian Jeffrey Raymond. Brian Raymond's crimes were a grotesque betrayal of trust. A CIA officer for over 2 decades, Raymond served in 25 countries, including Mexico and Peru, using his postings to prey on women. He met victims through dating apps, inviting them to his government-leased residences, where he offered wine and snacks laced with sedatives. Once unconscious, he sexually assaulted them, photographing and filming without consent. Investigators recovered over 500 explicit images and videos, some dating back to 2006, documenting his 14-year spree. In May 2020, a naked woman screaming from his Mexico City apartment balcony alerted authorities, exposing his pattern of abuse. In November 2023, Raymond pleaded guilty to 4 counts: sexual abuse, abusive sexual contact, coercion and enticement, and transportation of obscene material. 12 victims testified, one stating, "My body looks like a corpse on his bed," highlighting the trauma. Raymond was sentenced to 30 years, ordered to pay $260,000 in restitution, and required to register as a sex offender for life. The CIA labeled his actions reprehensible, vowing reforms to prevent misconduct. How did he evade detection across continents? Can the agency ensure this won't recur? Comment below. Jeffrey Sterling. Jeffrey Sterling's case sparked fierce debate over whistleblowers and racial bias. An African-American from Missouri, Sterling joined the CIA in 1993 as an operations officer, serving until 2002. He filed a racial discrimination lawsuit, alleging bias and unfair treatment, but it was dismissed under state secrets privilege. Involved in Operation Merlin, a 2000 CIA effort to disrupt Iran's nuclear program by providing flawed blueprints via a Russian intermediary, Sterling was accused of leaking details to journalist James Risen. Risen's 2006 book, State of War, revealed the operation's failure, alleging it aided Iran's ambitions. Prosecutors claimed Sterling leaked out of resentment over his lawsuit and firing, using circumstantial evidence of his communications with Risen, who refused to name sources. In January 2015, Sterling was convicted on 9 felony counts, including unauthorized disclosure and obstruction of justice. Despite 20-year guidelines, Judge Laney Brinkema sentenced him to 42 months, citing lighter sentences for similar cases. Sterling served at Inglewood, Colorado, reporting health issues in solitary confinement, and was released in January 2018. He insists he's a whistleblower exposing CIA flaws, not a traitor. Was he targeted for speaking out? Is the Espionage Act too harsh on dissenters? Share your view below. Aldrich, Hazen, Ames. Aldrich Ames' betrayal was a catastrophic blow to U.S. intelligence. Born in 1941 in River Falls, Wisconsin, to a CIA analyst father, Ames joined the agency in 1963 despite a mediocre academic record. Specializing in Soviet counterintelligence, he battled alcoholism, a failing first marriage, and mounting debts. In 1985, desperate to fund his new wife, Rosario Casas Dupuy's lavish lifestyle, Ames walked into the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C., offering the names of Soviet citizens spying for the U.S. for $50,000. Within months, nearly all CIA Soviet assets were rounded up, imprisoned, or executed. Over 9 years, Ames sold virtually every CIA Soviet source, earning $2.7 million from the KGB, the most any American spy had received. He bought a $540,000 house in Arlington, Virginia, luxury cars, jewelry, and private schooling for his stepchildren. Evading CIA scrutiny, the agency chalked up his wealth to his wife's supposed Colombian fortune, but the FBI grew suspicious. In 1993, after years of collapsed operations and vanished assets, the FBI surveilled Ames, bugging his home and tracking Soviet meetings. On February 21, 1994, agents arrested Ames and Rosario. Ames confessed to spare her a long sentence, detailing his espionage. He received life without parole. Rosario got 5 years. At least 10 assets were executed due to his leaks, and the CIA's Soviet network was ruined. Former Director James Woolsey called it the worst intelligence disaster in U.S. history. Why did greed override loyalty? Could another Ames go undetected? Drop your thoughts below. Harold James Nicholson. Harold Nicholson's treachery persisted even behind bars. Born in 1950 in Woodburn, Oregon, Nicholson joined the CIA in 1980, excelling in the Philippines, Thailand, Japan, and Malaysia. By 1994, as a senior counterintelligence officer at Langley, he felt overlooked for promotions and burdened by divorce debts. He offered his services to Russia's SVR, selling details on CIA operations, personnel, and recruits for $300,000 over 2 years. His leaks exposed new officers and covert missions, endangering lives. Failed polygraphs and unexplained wealth triggered an FBI-CIA sting, leading to his 1997 arrest. Nicholson pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit espionage, receiving 23.5 years. From Oregon's Sheridan prison, he orchestrated a second betrayal, using coded letters to instruct his son Nathaniel to contact Russian agents in Mexico City, Lima, and Cyprus from 2006 to 2009. Nathaniel collected tens of thousands in cash and gifts. The FBI's undercover operation exposed the plot, arresting both in 2009. Nicholson got an additional 8 years. Nathaniel received probation for acting under his father's influence. The damage to CIA operations was severe, prompting tighter security measures. How did he manipulate his son? Are prisons secure enough for spies? Comment below. William Kampiles. William Kampiles' brief CIA stint triggered a Cold War scandal. Born in 1954 in Chicago to Greek immigrant parents, Kampiles graduated from Indiana University and joined the CIA in March 1977 as a clerical worker, routing intelligence cables. Disillusioned by the mundane role, he resigned after 8 months, stealing a top-secret manual on the KH-11 spy satellite, a reconnaissance system unknown to the Soviets. In February 1978, he traveled to Athens, Greece, and sold the manual to a KGB agent for $3,000, unaware it revealed U.S. capabilities. Kampiles later contacted the CIA, claiming he'd infiltrated the KGB as a double agent, but inconsistencies raised suspicions. The FBI investigated, and he confessed in August 1978. Convicted on 6 counts of espionage and theft, he was sentenced to 40 years but served 18, released in December 1996. His leak forced costly satellite program adjustments and exposed CIA security lapses. Why did a low-level clerk risk so much for so little? Was 40 years too harsh? Share your take below. John Chris Kiriakou. John Kiriakou's leak exposed the CIA's darkest tactics. Born in 1964 in Sharon, Pennsylvania, Kiriakou joined the CIA in 1990 after earning degrees from George Washington University. Specializing in counterterrorism, he served in Greece and the Middle East. Post-September 11th, he helped capture al-Qaeda's Abu Zubaydah in 2002, aware of waterboarding, stress positions, and sleep deprivation used in interrogations. Disillusioned by 2004, he left the agency, haunted by these methods. On December 10, 2007, Kiriakou told ABC News, "We're Americans and we're better than this. Torture is wrong," confirming U.S. waterboarding. The government saw betrayal. Investigated for leaks, Kiriakou was charged in 2012 with 5 felonies, including violating the Intelligence Identities Protection Act by naming a covert officer to a journalist. He pleaded guilty to 1 count in October 2012, avoiding harsher charges, and received 30 months. Imprisoned in 2013 at Loretto, Pennsylvania, he was the first CIA officer jailed for leaking to the media. Released to a halfway house in February 2015, Kiriakou advocates for whistleblower protections, arguing he exposed torture, not secrets. Was he a patriot or a reckless leaker? Should exposing torture carry a prison term? Drop your stance below. Jerry Chun Shing Lee. Jerry Lee's espionage decimated CIA operations in China. Born in Hong Kong, Lee moved to Hawaii at 15, becoming a U.S. citizen. After Army service from 1982 to 1986, he joined the CIA in 1994 as a case officer in East Asia, holding top-secret clearance until 2007. In April 2010, China's Ministry of State Security offered him $100,000 in Shenzhen for sensitive information. From 2010 to 2013, Lee received over $840,000, depositing funds in Hong Kong accounts and responding to 21 taskings for CIA informant and operation details. Between 2010 and 2012, China killed or imprisoned at least 30 CIA assets, crippling U.S. intelligence. In 2012, the FBI found classified notebooks in Lee's possession with names and details of informants, but he wasn't arrested until January 2018 at JFK Airport. In May 2019, he pleaded guilty to conspiring to deliver national defense information, insisting he never transmitted the data. Sentenced to 19 years in November 2019, Lee's actions caused one of the worst intelligence failures in decades. What drove his betrayal? Money or loyalty? Can the CIA rebuild its China network? Comment below. Andrew Marvin Warren. Andrew Warren's fall from CIA station chief was a stark warning. Born in 1967 in Chesapeake, Virginia, Warren graduated summa cum laude from Norfolk State University, studied Arabic in Jordan, and joined the CIA in 1996. Fluent in Arabic and Persian, he served in Kuwait, Egypt, Afghanistan, and New York. In 2007, as Algiers station chief, Warren was accused by two Algerian women of drugging and sexually assaulting them at his residence. One incident on U.S. Embassy property. The women reported illness and memory loss after drinking with him. Recalled in 2008 and fired in 2009, Warren was arrested in April 2010 in Norfolk after missing a court date, found with a handgun and crack pipe. He pleaded guilty on June 7, 2010, to abusive sexual contact and cocaine use while armed, receiving 65 months. Released in 2015, Warren later admitted in a 2013 interview to participating in detainee torture, blaming untreated PTSD. He sued the CIA, claiming neglect of his mental health contributed to his crimes. Was his sentence too light for the harm? Does the CIA fail its officers' mental health? Share your thoughts below. Sharon Marie Scranage. Sharon Scranage's betrayal was born of love, not greed. Born in 1955 in Virginia, Scranage joined the CIA in 1976 as a clerk typist, earning top-secret clearance. In the early 1980s, stationed in Ghana to monitor Soviet and Cuban influence, she met Michael Susudis, a charismatic Ghanaian intelligence officer and cousin of leader Jerry Rawlings. Susudi courted her with gifts and affection, manipulating her into leaking names of CIA operatives, U.S. operations in West Africa, and planned coups. Ghana rounded up at least 8 CIA informants, some tortured or jailed, crippling U.S. efforts. A 1985 polygraph failure upon returning to the U.S. exposed Scranage's actions. She confessed, insisting she acted out of love, not ideology. Susudi was arrested in the U.S., admitting espionage, but claiming a consensual romance. Both pleaded guilty under the Espionage Act. Scranage received 5 years in November 1985, but served 2, released for cooperation. Susudi was deported to Ghana to avoid diplomatic fallout. The scandal tightened CIA vetting protocols. Was love her only motive? Should her sentence have been harsher? Drop your view below. Kyle Foggo. Kyle Foggo's corruption stained the CIA's highest ranks. A 20-year veteran, Foggo became executive director in 2004, managing daily operations. Despite a history of unreported foreign ties and a 1980s physical altercation, he rose through connections. Foggo steered lucrative contracts to defense contractor Brent Wilkes' firms, bypassing procurement rules for lavish vacations and meals. A $132 million clandestine air operations proposal, pushed despite Wilkes' inexperience, raised internal objections. Foggo also hired his mistress, overriding protocols, and retaliated against her supervisor's criticism by orchestrating their dismissal. Indicted in 2007 for fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering, Foggo pleaded guilty to wire fraud in 2008, avoiding a trial that risked exposing secrets. Sentenced to 37 months in 2009, he was released in 2011. His scandal, linked to Congressman Randy Cunningham's $2.4 million bribery scheme, exposed defense contracting vulnerabilities, prompting oversight reforms. Was Foggo's sentence too lenient for corrupting the agency? Can the CIA prevent such abuse? Comment below. Kevin Patrick Mallory. Kevin Mallory's espionage was a desperate act. Born in 1957, Mallory graduated from Brigham Young University in 1981, served in the Army, and worked as a CIA covert officer from 1990 to 1996 and contractor from 2010 to 2015, 2012. Fluent in Mandarin. In 2017, buried in debt and behind on his mortgage, he was contacted via LinkedIn by a Shanghai Academy of Social Sciences operative, a front for China's Ministry of State Security. Mallory traveled to Shanghai in March and April 2017, meeting Michael Yang, a suspected intelligence officer, and agreed to sell classified documents for payment. Using a Samsung Galaxy phone with covert software, Mallory transmitted at least 5 classified documents, including one with unique identifiers for U.S. human sources. Surveillance caught him scanning documents at a FedEx store onto a micro SD card, later hidden in his home. Stopped by customs at O'Hare with $16,000 undeclared, Mallory admitted to FBI agents he had the device but denied sending secrets. A 2017 search found the SD card. Convicted in June 2018 for conspiracy, delivery of defense information, and false statements, he received 20 years in May 2019. Assistant Attorney General John Demers noted an alarming trend of China targeting ex-officers. Was debt his sole driver? Are sentences deterring espionage? Share your thoughts below. Jeffrey W. Castelli. Jeffrey Castelli's role in a CIA kidnapping ignited global controversy. As Rome station chief in the early 2000s, Castelli orchestrated the February 17, 2003, abduction of Egyptian cleric Hassan Mustafa Osama Nasser, known as Abu Omar, off of Milan Street. Part of the CIA's Extraordinary Rendition Program, the operation saw Omar flown to Egypt, where he was tortured and held without charges for years. Italian prosecutor Armando Spataro's investigation, using cell phone records, hotel receipts, and car rentals, linked Castelli and 26 Americans to the plot involving Italy's SISMI agency. In 2013, an Italian court convicted Castelli in absentia, sentencing him to 7 years for kidnapping. Protected by diplomatic status and no extradition, he never served time. The Imam Rapido affair strained U.S.-Italy relations, sparking debates over the legality and ethics. It was a rare instance of CIA officers facing foreign convictions for counterterrorism actions. Was Castelli following orders or overstepping? Should he have faced U.S. justice? Drop your stance below. We've exposed 14 CIA officers who vowed to serve but chose to betray. From Schulte's devastating Vault 7 leak to Castelli's controversial rendition, their crimes, espionage, abuse, corruption, reveal the human weaknesses within America's intelligence fortress. Which case shook you most? Do their sentences deliver justice, or do they expose a system too lenient or too punitive? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for more buried secrets. Next, we'll uncover another dark chapter. Stay tuned.